Hi, guys. I'm Star Ericka, and I want to welcome you to my newest podcast, Suddenly Still. Times where life changed abruptly, yet time stood still. I want to go behind the scenes with the mission and pretty much the purpose of the name. Like, where did I get the name? So, pretty much April 2nd, 2022, my hashtag for my wedding was Suddenly Simpson 0422. With that, that's my husband's last name. It was clever. Actually, my best friend Jamie came out with it, and I just absolutely fell in love. And then I got pregnant with my honeymoon baby actually during our honeymoon, which was between April 7th and April 10th, I believe. It was pretty short. And then my son ended up being a stillborn in November, on November 29th, 2022. He was actually pronounced deceased in the womb as of November 28th, 2022, but he was actually delivered and born on November 29th, 2022 as a stillborn. So I just felt what could really describe my life right now, like where I am in life right now. And I feel like the best thing that I had came up with was Suddenly Still, because I realized that life can change in a blink of an eye. Like, life truly changes in a blink of an eye. And we have no control over what happens in our lives. We can only adapt. We can only grow. We can only learn. So I feel like Suddenly Still was just perfect. The name was perfect. Everything about it was perfect. And I just genuinely, again, like I said, it came from, Suddenly Simpson and my son suddenly being a stillborn. And I'm telling you, the name just boom, it was like magic. But on this podcast, I want to discuss, I know I want to start the first episode off about just battling a stillborn, a stillbirth. I feel like stillbirth is not talked about because it's not as common. But actually, about 25% of women will suffer a pregnancy loss or infant loss, whether it's miscarriage or stillbirth. There's a big difference between stillbirth and miscarriage, and let me kind of explain those. So, a miscarriage is typically a pregnancy that did not pretty much go any further than about 20 weeks. So, at that point, 20 weeks, I think 20 weeks or 21 weeks, don't quote me, but 20 weeks is considered if you don't get a death certificate until your fetus or your embryo, your baby is at least 21 weeks or 22 weeks, something like that. I don't know if it's different in different states or whatever. So pretty much 20 weeks and before that is considered a miscarriage. 20 weeks and after, or 21 weeks, whichever one, is considered a stillbirth, because the process is very different. I feel like every loss is major, no matter what level, how many weeks you carried a baby. Miscarriages at 5-6 weeks are definitely still losses. Especially, just all depends on the person. For me, I actually had 2 miscarriages. I had a miscarriage in 2017, and then I instantly got pregnant with my daughter. So it was a 4 weeks, 5 days. I had a miscarriage. And then I found out I was pregnant with my daughter at 4 weeks, 5 days. I'm telling you, nothing really in between that. I literally had a miscarriage in May, and I was pregnant again in June. By the grace of God, my daughter is healthy, beautiful, and she is here. She is actually 5 years old now. And then in November, I believe around October, November of 2021, I had a miscarriage where it was considered like a missed miscarriage, where my body literally just didn't let go of the baby. So I was 5 weeks when I found out, and then I went back around about 10 weeks, and it never grew past 5 weeks. So I had to insert some pills and pretty much help my body to go into a miscarriage, and I pretty much bled it out. So as far as those miscarriages, I bled them out. I bled them out. I seen tissue. I didn't see any little baby or any little embryo, just a lot of tissue, a lot of shedding. And luckily I didn't have to get a D&C or anything, because my body did shed everything. However, with my stillborn, things were a lot different. For one, my son was considered a stillborn at 35 weeks, 5 days. I have a godchild that was born in about 26 weeks. I have a cousin that was born at about 22 weeks, 23 weeks, something of that sort, or 21 weeks, and they're alive right now. They're well, no medical issues, no nothing. So imagine 35 weeks, 5 days. I actually had 8 more days until my scheduled induction with all the issues that I had, which I did go. I have a docuseries that is below in the description, so that you can kind of go through the 4-episode docuseries where I explain everything that happened in my pregnancy, everything. if you search Star Ericka CDH or Star Ericka CDH docuseries, it will come up. And I highly suggest watching that because it'll kind of explain what happened in my pregnancy. And so I won't like use this time to kind of go over it again, especially for those that have already watched it. However, with my son, first of all, I knew his gender. I felt him move. I watched him move on ultrasounds. I have so many ultrasound pictures. I did photo shoots. I was huge. Not only did I suffer through my pregnancy, but I felt like I pretty much almost gave my life for my son to have the best the best fighting chance that he could have. So I feel like stillbirth with my son, when I found out he had no heartbeat, it's like after I've already heard his heartbeat, after I've already experienced him moving and felt him actually there, like seeing my body change, seeing him do things and react and respond to me, like it was far different than my miscarriages. I don't want to take away anybody's, like, because I don't want to be insensitive to miscarriages because they are still, again, they are detrimental to your mental health. You still get all the hormones, especially if you are a late miscarriage where your miscarriage is about, 20 weeks and, past 15 weeks, you know the gender at that point. You could know the gender already. It's actually a baby moving around in there. You might not be able to feel it yet, but it's there. So 9 times out of 10, if you have that miscarriage, you might actually see an actual baby. And it'll, be small, it won't be fully developed and stuff like that. For me, my son was whole. My son was almost 6 pounds. So when I had him, I pushed him out. I had to go into labor. There was no DNC. There was no possibility of him just falling out. There was none of that. He was a whole baby. So therefore, bleeding a baby out versus pushing a baby out, there's no real comparison to the two. I feel like the only comparison is you are a mother. The only comparison is you carried the babies no matter how long. That in itself is a lot. You also went through changes. You went through changes at any level of your pregnancy. You're going to go through changes. At any level of your pregnancy, you're going to experience things that you wouldn't experience unless you're pregnant. So I don't ever want you to feel like I'm insensitive to miscarriages. However, the thing that I hated the most was somebody telling me I understand. And then they proceed to say I had a miscarriage too. I think that in itself was insensitive. That's kind of like almost me like saying like with losing my son to stillbirth that I understand a mother that lost their son to gun violence. I don't. I can't even compare or say I understand to a mother that has a 2-year-old that lost their 2-year-old to drowning or medical issues. I can't understand because I don't. And I can only imagine. So like, I feel like I understand what's the biggest problem for me. I understand, made me not talk to a lot of people. I understand really put me in a bad place mentally. I understand did it for me. And I just wanted to shed light on that because I understand took me to a place that I didn't understand. Just for somebody saying I understand, I haven't talked to a few people because they claim they understood. And when they say I understand, I'm like, oh shoot, of course. Like now as an angel mom, you want to say, hey, how was your experience? What did you go through? What did you feel? And it was like, oh, I was here or there, and I was about 6-7 weeks, and I bled the baby, and I started bleeding, and oh my God, and I immediately like get an attitude. I immediately like feel a way that I don't want to feel. Like I don't want to feel a way, but I do because you don't understand. Like I understand you because I had a miscarriage, but my miscarriage versus my son's stillbirth was 2 different things. I had to get epidural that I ended up getting epidural nerve damage from because of how they placed my epidural, and I couldn't feel my nerves in my butt for almost 6 months. I couldn't walk, jog. I could barely walk. I couldn't run. I couldn't even be tapped. My butt couldn't even be touched for at least minimum 4 months after having my son. I was on a walker and all that, like that. Sorry, you don't understand. And I feel like if a lot of people start changing like how they say certain things or their approach, like people will receive it better. Like sometimes you really don't know what to say to somebody that is going through. But saying I understand could take them to a place that they don't even understand. Like it pisses them off in ways they won't even be able to tell you because you don't understand. So I feel like, ways that you can kind of handle somebody that is grieving, especially when it comes down to stillbirth, miscarriage, or any type of loss. I can only imagine, or I can't imagine what you're going through, but I'm here for you. I can't imagine what you're feeling, but I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I'm here. Or just actually telling them what you can do. Like, instead of just saying whatever you need, if you need me to cook, I'm here. If you need me to clean, I'm here. If you know you can't pay a bill, or if you need $20, I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, if you know you can't pay a bill, don't go be like, ask me for whatever. It's no limit. And then they say, well, hey, my light bill is due and I ain't been working because I just had a baby, or I just had a miscarriage, or whatever. And now you're stuck in the face. That's going to piss them off way more than you actually telling them what you can do. Instead of, because 9 out of 10, we as grieving mothers or someone that just experienced a loss, we don't know what we want. We don't know what we need, because we just suffered a great loss. So that loss is what we need. I need my baby back. I need my husband back. I need my friend back. I need my mom back. I need what I lost back. That's all I need. And so therefore, I can't really tell you what I need. So I feel like that is the problem. And I feel like, oh my God, my best friend, I can't wait to bring her on. She has to come on, because she was the epitome, not just her. Let me not take away from my friends, period. All my friends did their big one when it came down to my loss. All my friends, I mean, when I tell y'all absolutely amazing, everybody, they either gave me the space I need. They were there when I needed them there. They came running to my aid. I couldn't have asked for better friends. I really couldn't have asked for better friends. But my best friend, like, she holds a special place in my life, in my heart, because she just did everything that I needed without me even at some point, like, she was there. She was the first person there, like, that came down to where I was when I lost my son at the hospital. She was the first person at the hospital because my mom was already there with me. And my husband was on the way back because he was working, because our son wasn't due until like another week. I mean, he wasn't going to be induced for another week. So he was back 2 hours later at home working. So my husband's on the way down there. She just happened to be closer, so she's on the way. And it was just like, she was just there. I mean, she literally just did everything I needed her to do when it came down to just planning stuff. Like, and then there was times where she wasn't right there. Like, it was times where she came over just to be sitting with me, and then times where she didn't come at all, and she'll just text me. Like, that friend that just understands that I need her right here, and I need space as well. I need her right here, and I need her somewhere else as well. Like, you need those friends, because like all of my friends, they did an amazing job when it came down to me and my feelings. Like, I had friends that were newly pregnant, and I didn't know, like, they didn't know if they should invite me to their baby shower or not say nothing to me at all. I had friends that just had a baby, like somewhat after, and didn't talk to me no more at all. And literally, like, I remember like making like a post on Instagram just about how I was feeling, and like about like how I don't talk to people as much no more, how people don't respond to me as much no more. And one of my friends that I was just really close to deleted me as a friend. Like, it just, they unfollowed me on everything. I mean, and the only reason I knew is because like I like, I always try to go on, check on my friends. Sometimes we can't talk every day. I go on their Instagrams and see their pictures and I see that they're doing well. And when I went, we wasn't friends no more on Facebook, on Instagram. And I'm like, well, geez, like, you my friend, you just had a baby, you just bought a house. Like, I'm here for you. Like, I'm still your friend. Like, I'm just feeling this type of way. And if this shoe fits you, how about check on me and see how I'm feeling? Don't automatically just assume that, I'm just talking about you and this just is it for us. Like, no, if you feel like this shoe fits you, be a friend and communicate with me and tell me how you're feeling. Like, tell me, hey, like, I feel like this post was about me. So I can say, I mean, it wasn't about just you. It was how I was feeling, but actually you fit the category. I'm that friend. Like, tell me so I can tell you, yeah, it was about you. It was about you. It wasn't directly specifically to you. However, you do fit that category, so that we're able to rectify. We're able to, come to like, why were you distant? Or why do I feel like you were distant? Maybe it's a miscommunication or a misunderstanding. But hey, it's like, so I had those friends that drew near when they needed to draw near, and then I had those friends that cut me off, like in the midst of my grief and my midst of my pain. And it's just like, you don't forget those things. You don't forget those people. You don't forget those people that went weeks without texting you, but you understood that they just giving you time, or a few months, and they just checking in. Hey, or they see my post, they ain't making no shady posts because they know it don't apply to them. They know that they doing their very best. They know that they checking in whenever they can. But it's those guilty pigs that go to squilling and they know they ain't been, they wasn't there for you in your grief or your miscarriage or your loss, and they shining and they happy in their life and they just feel like they don't want nothing to do with you. Like, you're going to experience that. So it's kind of like, just because you lost don't mean that other people are going to like lose with you, or they're not going to grieve with you, or they're not going to nurture you or be there for you. Them people that you think might not be there are the ones that might be there. They might shock you. And then the people that you expect to be there for you, they might not. And like, you have to be able to be prepared for that, because essentially, like, you just don't know. You don't genuinely, like, you truly just don't know who's going to be there for you or who's not when you're grieving. It's like some people look at it as, okay, like, she lost her baby and now I don't even want to be around her because she got bad juju. And I just had a baby, or I just got pregnant. I don't even want to invite her to the baby shower because I don't want to hurt her. I don't want to upset her. I don't want to upset them. But I feel like, as lovely as it might sound to you, we as bereaving mothers, we still want to be included. We still trying to find some type of normalcy. And then you're going to have some mothers that don't want to, but let that mother tell you that. You know what I mean? Like, hey, like my friends that were inviting me to the baby shower and stuff, like, hey, I know what you're going through, and I truly hope I'm not triggering you in any way. But I do have my baby shower coming up, and I do want to invite you here. And boom. The person gonna say yay or nay. I had somebody do that for me, and I was there. I even had I have a new godson. I actually have a new godson, and he was born about 4 or 5 months after me losing my son, and I was in a delivery room with my friend, coaching her on to push out her baby and all of this stuff, and they ended up making me his godmother. Well, I came back the next day because I was there through labor. And of course I wanted to give her space because I understand, when you just have a baby, your hormones are on 10. They're on 10,000. So you kind of want your space a little bit. You might be a little moody. So you want them people there sometimes, and then you kind of want some space. So I was giving her space. So I came back the next day, and her and her husband asked me to be the godmom. And I was so honored. Like, I was so honored because not that he can replace my son, but that they did not change their plan. They had been planning to make me the godmom, but I didn't know that. And it's like, they didn't change that plan just because I lost my son. They still included me in everything. When it comes down to him, his Christianing and everything, they still included me with my godchildren that I already have that are, older now, teenager and, older. They are still my babies. I can't neglect. I still have a 5-year-old that still needs me as well. I can't neglect my responsibilities that I already have because I lost my baby. I can't neglect my husband because I lost my baby. I can't neglect my friends because I lost my baby. But when I need me, I need me. And it's not that I'm neglecting you during the times where I do need me. I just need me right now. And just know that I'm still your friend. I'm still your mom. I'm still your wife. I'm still your godmom. I'm still your auntie. I'm still your niece. I'm still your cousin. I'm still your daughter. I'm still me. But in times where I need me just a little bit more, let me have that. Like, I feel like most mothers, grieving mothers that have lost a baby or a child or any, like, the child in general, whether infant, whether, older, like, we love y'all and everything. And I promise y'all, we not like trying to be like distant, but sometimes like we go into those shells, and it's okay to text us, and it's okay that we don't text you right back. Still check on us, because we're not going to forget those text messages, or still send those messages and those prayers that you want to send, because we still receive them. We just read them. Sometimes we can't respond because we don't even know what to say, or we might hadn't even see. The eyes be so swollen from crying all day, we can't even see. But whenever we get back to, we're able to check them out. And we appreciate those. And I speak for grieving moms, because it's like, I feel like stillbirth, I never in my life thought I would experience stillbirth. Never. Like, even knowing that my son had some congenital issues that he had CDH, congenital diaphragmatic hernia. So he had that. But even knowing that he had a condition that, is a pretty serious matter and that he was going to need some care, I never thought I was going to lose him in utero. Like, I literally, like, when they told me that my son had no heartbeat, I couldn't even look down at my stomach because I knew he was still in there. Like, I'm already scary as it is, like, to see things. But to actually know that my son's still in here and, like, I can't actually like do nothing until I get him out. I can't even fully, like I'm telling y'all, my mind went into complete protect me mode so that I don't go into shock, because I knew I either had to push him out or get a C-section, and I didn't want a C-section. So it was like, okay, you got to get it together. Like, you have to prepare your mind, heart, soul, everything. You need all that you have right now to get this baby out. And after that, you can release. Felt like I had to gather all the strength that I had to get my son on this side. And then once I do that, then I could figure out my emotions and everything else. And I felt like, for me, like, that was the most important thing. And the most important thing for me was getting him to the finish line. And I didn't expect the finish line to be at the hospital, leaving him there and never seeing him again, and never ever seeing his eyes open. Like, I didn't know that was the finish line. I didn't know 35 weeks, 5 days was the finish line. However, I had to get him to the finish line. So I didn't want a C-section. I didn't want to go through all of that. You know, I feel like that, like, if I didn't have to have a major surgery, I didn't want a major surgery. And I just thank God that I was able to even do that. So I feel like, as a grieving mother, you know, someone that has experienced a stillbirth or just a lost period, know that you're not by yourself. There are, you know, hashtags and TikToks and, you know, Instagrams and Facebooks and so much out there for you to connect with other people that are in the same position as you. It's kind of like, you don't know what it feels like to be an angel mom until you're an angel mom. You don't know what it's going to be like until you're there. And then you don't even want to be there when you there. And it's like a whole nother world of, like, you get excited about things like your child's headstone being done, or, you know, you advocating to hurry it up, because you feel like if you can't do nothing else for your baby, you got to advocate for your deceased baby or your angel baby. It's a different world, y'all. And I feel like I'm okay now. Like, I'm in an okay place. I can't say that I am fully fine. I don't feel like anyone ever is fully fine. But compared to where I was, you know, maybe 6 months ago, 10 months or 9 months ago, because it was November and it's now September. It's not even the end of September yet. So where I was during those times compared to where I am now, I don't cry every day. I used to cry every day. I used to wake up every day full of anxiety, full of emotions, full of, I don't know where I am today, mentally, physically, emotionally. I don't know. I don't know. I was full of that. So for me to be like where I am right now, I'm okay enough to, like, now serve purpose. Like, I feel like God allowed me to go through what I went through because he knew I was going to tell it. He knew that I was going to testify. He knew that I was going to help somebody else. There's mothers that have went through this and won't talk to nobody about it. But I feel like this is a part of my healing. This is a part of my journey. This is a part of me letting people know who my son is. So I take it as honorable to be able to, like, do this. I started a foundation called CDH Champion Foundation that didn't really go too far because I felt like, I don't know, I didn't want that. I feel like God just knew I was going to tell the testimony. And like, so CDH Champion Foundation was the foundation that I started in honor of my son. I wanted to help other CDH moms and stuff like that, but it didn't even last long. And I feel like maybe that's just not my ministry. Like, at least not right now. I feel like in the place that I'm in right now, like, I don't feel like the idea of a foundation in his honor was what I wanted, or what I want right now. Like, I just couldn't focus on it. So when Suddenly Still came about in my mind, and I just thought about, okay, I want a podcast and I want to know what my podcast is going to be about. It was perfect. Everything aligned with what I'm doing right now. Everything aligned with where I am right now. And I feel like that's what I'm grateful for. I am so grateful to be able to honor my son in a way of just helping other moms navigate stillbirth or grieving or just life, period, because this is who I am. I am a motivational speaker. I am a testifier. I am a servant of God. And I just feel like me just being a motivational speaker is not like a thing. It's not a job. It's my purpose. My purpose is transforming lives. Even with my company, the Millionaire Table, like, our goal is transforming lives through financial literacy and credit and business credit and businesses and courses and ebooks and how to do this and how to do that, and just helping people transform their financial situation. So I feel like if I can transform a life emotionally, spiritually, renew someone's faith, whatever it is, That's where that's my ministry. That's what I've learned about me. I like transforming lives. And I felt like, yes, the foundation can help, but it's like, I'm not a beggar. I don't like to beg others. I like to pour into others. And I don't really like accept people pouring into me that much. So it was just a lot and I just didn't uphold it. So, I mean, this is where I am right now. And I feel like, Suddenly Still is just, it's a place where we can talk about anything. We can talk about business, life, grief, all of that, because I just couldn't find one thing. I couldn't just come and talk about one thing because like that's kind of like having a niche. I don't really have a real niche. Like I'm a credit specialist, I'm a author, I'm a mother, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I do DIY. I love to decorate. I love home content. I love vlogging. I love traveling. I love to just be. So I feel like with Suddenly Still, at first it was just going to be about grieving, but I realized that I don't want to reside in that place of grief and hurt and anger. Like I can't just make this podcast about grief and hurt and anger because I'm not there no more. Like I'm still grieving, but I'm in a process of healing while grieving. And I've healed too much to just have a podcast about just grief or the pain or the stillbirth or the miscarriage. I don't want that to be my focal point. I just want people to be able to come to Suddenly Still podcast and we talk about moments that like where time just stood still, when life changed abruptly, whether my wedding day. We gonna talk about that. What like I'm gonna talk about everything that I want to talk about. Things that I just want to let out. Like moments of accomplishment, success. I'm going to bring people on. We're going to just talk. We're going to chill. We're going to vibe out. We're going to have topics. Suddenly Still is just a name. And I'm grateful and I'm honored to just be in this space. So again, I just want to just thank you guys for coming on and tuning in. This is just the first episode. I just want to kind of give you guys a little background of where we are and where we're going. And welcome to Suddenly Still podcast. We're going to talk, we're going to chat, we're going to talk business, life, health, emotions, whatever we're going to talk about. Make sure y'all drop some topics inside of the comments and just know that I'm here. I'm here and I'm not leaving YouTube no more. I'm not leaving any of my platforms anymore. But again, thank you so much. Make sure you are following me on all platforms at Star Ericka, whether it's _ Star Ericka or what, you'll know it's me. You'll know it's me. But anyways, thank you so much for tuning in, millionaires. Have a great one.